Hey, did something dumb today. I thought I was going to tell you about it. So I was walking around town just to get out and get a half an hour walk around the block and see what's going on. And I stopped into the hardware store and I saw the enemy. It was the Ecuadorian labeled glyphosate, however you pronounce it. Monsanto's herbicides and pesticides, and they had a separate little room for it that you walk past to get to the other stores, like four little shops all lined up together. And I wanted to just kind of test and see what it would feel like, and if the pain would be that immediate, and if it was in my hips. And what happened was my feet started to get numb. And as it moved up to my knees, that's when I went, it's time to go. I'd been there maybe 90 seconds. And it was like, I can't stand here this long. This is going. And then my legs started to give out from under me because they were going numb. And it was just an interesting experience just to go, wow, let's just test that. And when I woke up this morning, I had the thought, are you living or are you dying? And that's what I wanted to talk about with you this morning, and going, how are we treating our lives? Are we pushing into the max? Are we, my roommate and I both love Cabaret, the musical. And the song going out, Life is a Cabaret, is one we both know by heart. And I said to her once, I said, we are going out like Elsie. And we have laughed and felt that little tinge of, how are we going out? How are we looking at this experience we call life? And as both cancer survivors, and I've had 2 bouts with that little devil, Abby's probably done more poison than I have, but she's tougher than I am. So I'm like, go ahead, girl. But it has woken up within me about, what are you doing? Are you just coasting? Are you ignoring? Are you giving your flesh the best treatment it can and doing with it what it needs instead of what your other, let's say, addictive personalities or bad habits or parasites that are making you do the things you do? And think about the people that collect all the cats. They get that disease that cats can give that say, take care of us, take care of all of us. Now that's a parasite. Are the ones that make you addicted to other things. Those are challenging ones that we battle as a species. However, when you get clear of them, you just make choices, and the choices are how you look at every day. And being here, like in Thailand, and I will say it's cleaner here. You don't see as much trash on the streets as I would in Thailand, and there's no ocean, so I'm not being able to observe the same difference. But it has been interesting to observe how people treat the earth. And along the side of the road, are they disregarding where they live? And I see less of that, and that's a joy. But it was also, well, yeah, but you're putting chemicals on it. And when you are downstream in town, you see the water is not as clean, and you can smell the chlorine coming out of houses. So it's another type of poisoning going on. It's a little... it ain't perfect. And I realize there's no place on the planet that I can go that's going to be clean enough for me unless I go back and find a real good bubble. And I'm not choosing that. So I'm living dangerously, should I say, by being out of my organic permaculture Monsanto-free farm. I'm pushing the dying envelope a little faster, as witnessed by my walking into a hardware store and standing by the wrong things. And I can usually feel it when I'm going down a food market. If there's pesticides in the fruit and vegetable market, I can feel it. And so I kind of just pick up a piece of fruit and hold it for a minute and go, nope, can't do that one. And it'll tell me. So it is interesting in these days I've picked up superhuman gifts, my sensitivity to pesticides. However, when I think about, living, when I asked Gary Carlson a couple weeks ago when I did that interview with him, I said, is it better to do ascension in the body or out of the body? Inquiring minds want to know. Because as my teacher Willow said, it's a good day to die. And I'm like, yeah, but tomorrow's better. So I want to know about death and the options before and after. And since I have consciousness after I die, I want to think about this and be very clear about the choices I make and how I do live. And I'm hoping with planetary ascension that we get 30-year-old bodies. Now, if you're under 30, you may not want that, but I could use a new body. And I'm not willing to do the conventional methods that we have now to make that happen. So I'm looking for a bigger solution than the one I have currently. So it's just been an interesting evolution of watching how the body ages, how its sensitivities make it kind of go, do I get a new model? I'm ready to start thinking about that. Okay, can I trade in without cutting myself or becoming a cannibal and taking somebody else's cells into my body, whether eating meat or doing stem cells? I'm like, want to stick with the set I got and don't take on any more. So my choices now are to work toward light body and really focus on what is light body. There's been a bunch of breatharians in town just lightly getting back into consuming again. And it is interesting just to observe their movement. And I just watched how they moved and going, what is light body feel like? And I can definitely feel a difference from my own physical body. Mainly my sense of smell and having my olfactory veins even open up even more and being more sensitive and more aware of what's around me. Because remember, we are mammals and we are here to exist on this crust of a living being. We're kind of big parasites, if you want to look at it that way. And like the dinosaurs, they had their day, we've had ours too. It looks like the reptilians never left, they just went underground. So we'll see if we'll get to meet them and deal with them more straightforward. So I think it would be good for all of us as a species to know who are we playing with. You know, we need disclosure so we can learn to see ourselves in a bigger light. You know, the first response is fear, but the second response that came for me when I realized I knew somebody and they were reptilian, and I went, I like them. I didn't think they were bad people. So I went, oh, let me think about this differently. So we learn, we grow, and we share. And for the next age ahead, we call it the golden age, and we're supposed to get 1,000 years of it according to the Bible. I hear others say we get 600 years and things it gets rocky again. So how do I, as a conscious being, want to live the next 600 years on this planet if I get to do so? I don't quite understand how the split of the dimensions is going to happen and how some people go one way, some people go another way, but I'm aiming to go the way I want to go, to more awareness, more dimensions, more experience of the light body. So I'm going to have a lovely piece of fruit and wish you well. Namaste, y'all.